Hi there, it's Vanessa from Cove, and you're listening to the 82nd edition of The Networker. This week's edition kept returning to a single question. What does it actually mean to connect well? Not to network efficiently, not to collect contacts, but to build relationships that hold weight, generate trust, and sustain themselves over time. The answers came from some unexpected directions. So let's dive in. We open with a piece in Inkware magazine by Nicole Ramirez on what separates super connectors from everyone else who networks. The difference isn't effort or social skill, it's intent. Most professionals treat their network as a resource to draw on when something's needed. Super connectors have flipped this. For them, the network isn't a support activity alongside the real work. It is the real work. Malcolm Gladwell named this pattern years ago. Ramirez updates it for a moment when AI-generated content is flooding every professional channel, and genuine human connection has never been harder to fake or more valuable to have. Forbes follows with practical advice for entrepreneurs on making better use of their alumni networks. The piece makes a distinction worth sitting with. Alumni affinity is a good opener, but the deepest value in a university network lies further in. Incubators, accelerators, entrepreneurship centers, targeted alumni communities, and the weak ties that a well-worked network makes reachable. The guidance is clear. Build the relationship first and let the ask come later, if at all. We then move to a piece from the Cove blog recapping the March Joyful Connection Masterclass, a session for facilitators built around one challenge. Why do most conversations stay shallow, even when everyone in the room wants something deeper? The session ran 4 structured activities, each designed to shift the conditions rather than rely on spontaneity. A physical opener to break passive observation, a storytelling exercise that removed professional titles and invited unexpected self-disclosure, a visual metaphor activity that bypassed language to access deeper reflection, and a final exercise built around naming something unspoken. In every case, the depth arrived quickly, once the structure made it safe. The lesson is one Cove has been building toward for a while. Genuine connection isn't accidental, it's designed. Programming Insider brings a longer view on what Gen Z is doing to professional networking. The short version is that they're not killing it. They're rebuilding it around different values. Where LinkedIn rewards credential history and linear career progression, Gen Z platforms reward dynamic presence, community participation, and real-time contribution. Handshake targets opportunity, Lunch Club orchestrates introductions through AI, and Discord builds connection through shared interest rather than professional intent. No single platform has solved the full equation yet, but the direction of travel is clear. Networking's moving from a formal, episodic activity to something continuous and identity-driven. Back to Forbes for a piece on rebuilding a professional network after relocating to a new city. The framework is 6 steps. Identify who you actually need in your new context. Make networking a scheduled habit rather than an occasional effort. Start where you're comfortable, mix your approach over time, follow up consistently, and course correct when the process stops working. The advice isn't glamorous, but it's the kind that works. The follow-up point is the one most people skip and the one that determines whether a conversation becomes a relationship or just a memory. We close the articles with research covered by Earth.com on AI's growing ability to detect hidden emotions through micro gestures. The study, led by researchers at the Harbin Institute of Technology, found that the most reliable emotional signals often appear in the body before people consciously choose them. A nervous hand rub, a brief shoulder movement, a face touch under pressure. These aren't deliberate communications. They're leakage, involuntary signals that carry timing, context, and emotional pressure that conventional systems miss. What this means for human connection is significant. The body's always communicating. The question is who or what is paying attention. Before we wrap up, let's turn to this week's recommendations. Our book of the week is Open to Work by Ryan Roslansky and Anish Rahman, the CEO and Chief Economic Opportunity Officer at LinkedIn. Drawing on data from over 1 billion professionals, the book makes a direct argument. The career playbook most people are still running on was built for a world that no longer exists. The skills that'll matter most as AI reshapes work aren't technical, they're human. The book offers a practical framework for figuring out what to delegate, what to protect, and how to stay ahead of a shift that isn't coming. It's already here. And our podcast of the week is the HBR IdeaCast, episode 1074, featuring researcher Marcus Buckingham on why love, not satisfaction, is the only metric that reliably predicts human behavior. The core finding is counterintuitive, but backed by data. The relationship between experience quality and outcomes isn't linear. Moving someone from unhappy to satisfied changes almost nothing. Only the extreme positive, what people spontaneously call love, reliably drives loyalty, advocacy, and sustained behavior. Buckingham's argument is that most companies are measuring the wrong thing and designing for a number that doesn't actually move people. It's a 30-minute episode and one of the more thought-provoking listens we've featured in a while. That's all for the 8-second edition of The Networker. The thread this week is about design. Super connectors design their relationships with intent. Good facilitators design conversations that create the conditions for depth. The platforms winning with Gen Z are designed around dynamic presence, not static credentials. And Buckingham's research says that the companies who build lasting loyalty are the ones who design for an extreme positive, not just an acceptable one. Connection at every level isn't something that happens to you. It's something you build deliberately. Until next time, stay connected, stay deliberate, and remember, your network isn't defined by how many people you reach. It's defined by how intentionally you build. And don't forget, the full edition of The Networker is waiting for you in your inbox. I'll see you next time.